Back everyone, welcome back to another weekend edition here of the WardiTV Monday. WardiTV Monday number 80. Your weekly dose of WardiTV action. I'm of course just VIP, with you and joined by these amazing players and by the people in the chat as well. Welcome one and all to our weekly Open Cup. Once again, bearing in mind this is a replay cast, we no longer do cover, we used to cover this event live, but now it does start very late. Starts late, it ends late as well, so we have taken to covering this event via replays a week after the fact, or at least some time after the fact. So we're catching up with week number 80 of the WardiTV Monday. Let's go. We're going to be jumping into the quarterfinals, and we have a bit of a special guest here. Let's go. We do have Lambo showing up. For those who are maybe unaware, for those that may be unfamiliar, for those that are maybe unfamiliar with Lambo, Lambo, he rarely plays in Open Cups. There's a decent group of players that don't really compete in Open tournaments or in online events, referring to players like Lambo, Laser, Big Gabe is another big one as well. Players don't really compete too often in the Open Cup circuit, so it is always a very nice kind of surprise whenever we do get a player like that competing and signing up and actually taking part in an open circuit like this. So let's go, let us go. We have our PvZ ahead of us. We're going to be jumping into Classic versus Lambo. Not an easy opponent whatsoever here for Lambo, and we'll see if he can hold his own. We'll see if he can keep up, as game one is going to be on Winter Madness. Let us go as we are going to be jumping in to our best of three. Bearing in mind that our plan here tonight is to cover the quarterfinals, into the semis, into the grand finals thereafter. Here's our plan. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the German Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg. Representing Shopify Rebellion, it is Lambo. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player. We have the South Green Protoss representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. Let's go. Let us go. We are going to be jumping into our fresh series, our fresh best of three. Let's settle on it. From here, our eyes are going to be on Lambo mainly. Again, because it's so rare to see Lambo play and compete, I'm curious to see how he has been approaching ZVP as of late. Is he joining the rest of the players? What I mean by that is that every other player out there right now is just non-stop all-inning. 2-base all-ins, 3-base all-ins, and ZVP is very common and very standard. I will say that here on Winter Madness, the map is larger and all-ins are less effective, so there's a higher chance that we might embrace a longer and later game. I'm curious to see if Lambo does decide to try to be more tech-heavy instead. There are some builds and there are some styles where you can go for a heavy drone count, a heavy tech count, try to go into Hydras early on, and then try to rush into lurker tech, and then try to hit a lurker timing instead. That is another viable option that is available to our players, and that we have seen from time to time from players like Lambo. So I'm curious if that's the plan here on Winter Madness, or if we have another kind of idea moving forward. I know that for some time last year, especially with the change to the Microbial Shroud, there were a bunch of players who were messing around with the Ultralisk and with Ultralisk Microbial Shroud as well. They were playing around with that a little bit. I know that Lambo was one that was prevalent with that in ZVP, but again, that was last year. So we'll see. We'll see how our players do approach things. So far, Classic being as annoying as possible, delaying some mining. Just being annoying here, just being disruptive. Back at home, soon to go for his tech of choice. We're expecting a Stargate opener out of Classic. Classic, he is willing to mix it up and willing to go into earlier Twilight Council timings and earlier aggressive builds. That is true, but for the most part we're expecting a Stargate into an Oracle into a third base, and then from there we'll keep an eye on the Twilight Council timing. If he throws it down early without a Forge, that's indicative of early Blink or early Glaives. If he throws it down with a Forge, indicative of +1 in Glaives, or sorry, +1 in Blink I meant to say, into a standard mid game. We'll keep an eye on the timings here. So far, Stargate is thrown down. Everything's looking normal. Likewise, we'll keep an eye on Lambo and his gas and how he does spend it. So far, link speed does pull out. Everything's looking normal. From here, we will eventually pull back in once we get up to 2-base saturation, and then it's going to be up to Lambo to either head towards a Bailey Nest, a Roach Warren, or a Lair, or an early Evo Chamber. Depending on the tech, does kind of dictate the style of play he wants to embrace. As a probe is called out, third base cannot be taken. We're calming down. Now we're entering the early game here. Getting into the early game, it's going to be up to Classic to disrupt, to be active with these adepts, bearing in mind that 2 adepts will one-shot workers, so adepts are going to be threatening the bases here. It's going to be up to Lamb to keep up. The Oracle is going to be soon thereafter also joining the fray, also typically joining these adepts. Now Classic has to be careful. If these adepts do go down, he shades in. Oh my god. He has to be very careful here. If the adepts do get shut down, then that means that Classic, his third base is going to be vulnerable to a link counter attack. As you ideally want to preserve these drones, these adepts, as one drone does go down. Nice pickup, adept does shade away. So far, so good for Classic. As here comes that second adept. Link speed just now going to be kicking in. As the Oracle does move out, there's that third expansion. Classic applying pressure. And he will not commit. Does cancel the shade, Adepts race back home to defend, and the Oracle does tag in. Adepts tag out, Oracle tags in. Catching out one, catching out two drones, and pulls away. So 3 drone kills in total, 1 from the Adepts, and 2 from the Oracle. So far, again, nice damage here by Classic. Back at home, he can now expand, he can build on up. Behind this, we're waiting for our Twilight Council timing. Overlord goes in for a scout. So far sees nothing. There it is. Early council here at the natural. Usually it's in the main base, but it's thrown down at the natural to avoid the Overlord. But again, this is very early. Very, very early here. So we're expecting either Glaives or early Blink, one or the other. But aggression nonetheless from Classic. Bearing in mind that Classic is going to be delaying his own Forge in favor of these upgrades and these Warpins. So late upgrades for Classic, late +1. Oracle does dip in. Going for more damage. So far the Queens are keeping up, and that's going to be 1 more drone kill. Just the 1. As both Oracles, they do survive. They do pull out. Extra gateways being thrown down. We're going for a delayed Forge, so we're going into Blink. It's going to be early Blink here from Classic, early gateway explosion as well. With this, Classic can be very assertive and very aggressive early on, earlier than normal. It also means that Blink will be done in time if Lambo were to go for like a German taxi, a 2 base all in, 2.5 base all in, then Blink is going to be done very early in time to defend. But otherwise, Classic is going to be looking for map control and aggression and disrupting the 4th base timing of Lambo. Speaking of, here comes the 4th base of Lambo, and this will be the base that Classic does pressure. So back at home, Jesus, that's a lot of gates. We're getting up to 6 gateways early on here, and there's a chance here that Classic doesn't take his gases, throws down 2 more gateways, and goes for an 8-gate 3-base all-in. If he takes gases, that's a sign of further tech. Speaking of tech, there it is, Temple Archives. Okay, we're not going for the all-in. We're not going for the all-in. It's still a lot of gateways, and it's going to be a decent amount of pressure. But Classic is taking his gases and is taking him towards Storm, in towards the mid-game. So Classic is building up. Likewise, we do see a later Eva Chamber and an early Roach Warren. Early Warren was for Adepts, just in case. There were no Adepts, so a bit of a waste of resources with the Roach Warren. Then we go into the Eva Chamber, into the Hydrogen, in towards our mid-game as well. With the later Eva Chamber, higher chances +1 range, not +1 melee. Into a Hydra-heavy composition. Now, if you recall, something that we theorized at the beginning of this game was whether or not Lambo will go for a big 3-base all-in, or whether he decides to be quite quick when it comes to his tech, into Hydras, into Lurker tech. So far, we have a safety amount of Hydras on the way. So far, we have drone up to 3-base saturation, and we're taking up, into Hive, into Lurkers. So this is going to be a Lurker rush here from Lambo. It is a very kind of tech-heavy style, as the 5th base is going to be denied. Nice cancel. Denies the 5th, rotates around, Oracles are moving in, and we'll see if he can deny the 4th. As the Hydras are in position. So far, so good. We're massing up those Hydras. And basically, there's going to be a big power spike for Lambo once he does get into his own Hive tech and his own Lurker tech. Until then, it's going to be up to Lambo to survive. Survive, Pappy. Ooh, does kill one of the Oracles. Does kill both. Very nice catch. The 1-2 Oracles go down. A Classic does miscontrol. The miscontrol, Pat. And there it is. There's that Lurker den. As we mentioned, that is the win condition here. That is the goal for Lambo, is survive until Lurkers. This also means that Classic is free to expand. Because of this is a late 4th. We could have seen a much earlier 4th base from Classic, upon realization that Lambo is being more defensive. High Templar amassing, Storms are available. Bearing in mind that Storms will dominate, and again, there's still a window in time here. There's still a period where there are no Lurkers to zone away the Grand Army and to zone away the High Templar. And here comes that Prison for the push. So Classic is gearing up. He's gearing up. He's soon to be moving out. Lambo, Spinecall is being thrown down. He has to secure this 4th base. He has to hold on to it. If it breaks, he won't be able to afford Hive Tech, and he won't be able to afford the Mass Lurker. As the Hive is finishing up, Lurker Den is finishing up as well. Typically, players here wait until Lurker upgrades before making any Lurkers. Ooh, the Hydras get caught. No, it's 3. Yeah, 3 Hydras go down. Massive pickups. Lynx, they try to come in from behind, but remember the Storm. Yeah, Storm is available. Plenty of Storms, actually. Prism does bypass the Hydras. Ooh, did I speak too soon? Another Storm comes in, and we just can't go through the center here. Brutal positioning. Yeah, Lambo is denied. The army's moving in. There's only half the army for Lambo. He's going to try to flank, but there are so many High Templar available here. So many Storms. And does Lambo surround, or does Classic break each half of the army one at a time? Yeah, he goes for it. He goes for the Hydras. He wants them. He wants the Hydras. He blinks in. The Hydras, they have to get the hell out of here. Storm from behind. Zoning away Lings, and these Hydras are falling. Yeah, massive losses here. As every Hydra's going to go down. Oh, tries to morph in the Lurkers. They're going to be denied. That is 11 Hydras going down and 1 Lurker. Or 1 attempted Lurker. And we have Lair Tech Lurkers, 2. Only 2 Lair Tech Lurkers. Storm in the ramp. Only 2 Lurkers, so we just avoid them. Yeah, we just walk away. We just walk away. We can rotate over towards the 5th. Detection's not quite available. There's also rallying in. Storm's once again mainly zoning. Yeah, just mainly a zoning Storm. Army gets into the mineral line. Drone's going to be going down. Hydras are pushing in, but again, there's what, 2 more Storms left. What a mass. I believe it's 1 more. Again, still no detection. Observers on the way. Oof, Storm lands. And there's almost 1 more. There's the recall. Yeah, Storm lands. There's the recall by Kerm, the High Templar. 1 High Templar goes down. The rest escape. He gets away. He does get away. 12 drone kills. So far, good damage done by Classic, and he's already switching into Tempest. So that window in time where Lurkers could dominate, that window's already closed, which is crazy. Like, the Hive Tech Lurkers are still on the way, and Lambo, he did sustain some heavy losses, losing a lot of Hydras, losing some mineral lines, losing drones. He's now building up into Lurker Tech, but Classic already takes to the skies. Nice contamination. Very nice contamination here. But the window here where Lurkers can actually get damage done is closing, and now we have to switch to Spire Tech into Corruptors. Sticking with Hydra Lurker Viper, it can do well when there's a low amount of Tempest, but I'm concerned as we have so far 2, soon to be 5 Tempest. Yeah, 5 Tempest, Mass Immortal. There it is, Spire now gets thrown down, and it's on Lambo to survive until Spire Tech. Now, right now he's being active. The goal here is to distract Classic, to maybe catch some units out of position, to force Classic back home. Defensively, Lambo will struggle, so he's got to ideally force Classic back home instead. Army's revealed, catching out some Zealots. At the same time, Lambo pushing in between the bases. He gets spotted. Classic, where are we going? Again, he's out of position, he's turning back around. And Lambo doesn't get up the ramp. But this is fine. Like, this is good. Lambo, sure, he doesn't get up the ramp. He doesn't get much damage done. But again, he's distracting Classic. And as long as he gets out, it's fine. He's not going to get out, is he? No! Again, I snipe. Observer gets sniped. We got to get out of here. At the same time, Lambo pushing in. There's a Templar to defend, but no Storm. NG overcharge. Okay, there's the NG overcharge. Classic buying time. Oh, free damage on the army. It's going to be how many? That's going to be 4 Lurkers going down. Ay, ay, ay. Nice counterattack, though. Yeah, decent counterattack. It looks like Classic, he does abandon. Yeah, he abandons the base, and he just goes for it. He's just going for the kill. He believes he has enough. He ignores the expansion. He could have turned around. No, he recalls. He saves it. Okay, he saves the base, and with the rest of his reinforcing army, he might actually catch these Lurkers. He does. Yeah, Lurker goes down. Classic, he defends, and from here, he can keep pushing. How many Lurkers do we have to defend? 6. 6 Lurkers. Microbo Shroud is on the way. That will help, but that's not ideal. Like, Microbo Shroud, it's a bit of a stopgap. It's a bit of a band-aid solution. And it will help somewhat. Classic claiming his 5th. The 5th is going to be cancelled. But it's all about this main push. Now, bearing in mind that base recall is now on cooldown, right? Base recall is now on cooldown. There's cancellation. Classic is pushing forward. Lambo once again counterattacking. Like, this is important here. Lambo cannot fight this. He cannot fight this head-on, so just non-stop counterattacks, non-stop run-bys. That's the best that Lambo can hope for, and he can force a base trade. He can try to force a base trade. Ooh, feedbacks on the Infestors. Ultras, they called out. They're in grade 2 Ultras. And we're going full base trade at this point. We're going full base trade. 4th base goes down, 3rd base under fire. At the same time, Classic takes down the 4th base of Lambo. And we're going to keep going. We can't just turn around at this point. Where are we headed? As Classic, he does rotate towards the fringe bases. Lurkers pushing forward. Classic making a stand here at the natural. I feel like this natural was exposed. We could have just pushed directly into the natural base, but Classic's playing safe. He's playing it safe. Going for the fringe bases instead. Takes down the 5th. Lambo down to 3 expansions. But again, I do feel like we could have been a little bit more assertive here. Classic turns around. He turns back around. He's coming back home. Lambo, he has to try to get out of here with whatever he can. Does skirt around the left-hand side. And can he get out? Can he? No, he cannot. He gets caught. Yeah, he gets caught out here. Lurkers do fall. Now he's pinned. Detection has arrived. Oof. And Lambo, he'll lose everything. Yeah, he'll lose the entire army here. Now, Lambo, he is on a 3-base economy. Classic's on 2 bases, so the economies are quite close. What's helping Lambo, though, he has top right. He has top right, and he saved the drones. This is a crucial base here for Lambo. This will allow him to actually build up reinforcements and have a standing army. Now, of course, we do still favor Classic. Classic, his main army is still stronger. As I mentioned, that's the reason why for the past, 6 minutes, Lambo's been avoiding the fight. Like, if Lambo, he cannot fight head-on, and he still cannot fight head-on. I say that. How many ultras do we have? 10. Okay, so the goal of the ultras here is to break through the ground army and to get on top of the High Templar. If he can clean up the High Templar, then he can win the game, or he can at least win the ground battle. We have how many Corruptors? 7. 7 Corruptors. There is potential here to try to collapse in and flank the army. This can work. This can work here for Lambo. But he's going to be careful. Like, he needs to be able to surround and come in at the right moments, come in at the right time. If he goes in like one portion at a time, then he's just going to be completely shut down. Likewise, Neurals might be important here to neural some of the Archons. More so than Fungals. Is Neural available? No. Okay, never mind. So we can Fungal. We can Fungal, and I guess we can Microbial Shroud. Top right goes down. Am I blind? Do we really not have Neural? Yeah, no Neural. Okay. Okay. Let's go. Fungal's the best bet. Does catch one Archon. Lings, they do backstab. Nice catch. Catching out 7 probes. Probes going down. Classic, he is super maxed. He has a massive army. Jesus. As he saves on a lower probe count. And Classic is being so patient, by the way. I feel like another Protoss player, even another top Protoss like Hero and Max Pax, would have pushed by now. Like, they would have just committed to the base trade and committed a little bit harder. But Classic being so patient, he's like, you know what? I would just take a fresh base. I would just get a fresh mining base. I would just secure myself. I'm going to rotate, deny any fresh expansion from the Zerg player. Just at scale. This is giving Lambo the opportunity to actually build up his forces, and there it is. Neural now begins. Now it can be a factor in the next fight once it finishes. But this is giving Lambo a chance to actually have like a solid fight himself. It all comes down to the main fight. It all comes down to the army control and the army positioning. See, these High Templar are being so ambitious. As I mentioned, the goal for the Ultras is to get on top of the Templar and shut them down. If the Templar do fall, then the air army will have an easier time without any storms to worry about. In saying that, we have to be careful with the Archons, sorry, with the Corruptors because of the Archons as well. Like, the Archons, they protect the Tempest quite well. That's why the ground fight is so important. It's the only way to deal with the Archons on High Templar first, and then collapse in on top of the Tempest. There we go. This is a better angle here for Classic. Lambo, who wants to fight out in the open, luring him out. Classic, he wants to fight with SimCity with this with these choke points, with better terrain. Takes northern base. Another fresh expansion. Jesus. Classic throwing down more cannons, more shield batteries. Pushing through the center. We have a greater Spire now on the way, +3. We see that Lambo is catching up with upgrades. Top right isn't spotted. Main army does make it through the center. He gets in. He gets through the center. Now he has a choke point in his favor. Fungal does land. Mass Neural here on the Immortals. Oh, but the feedbacks. Yeah, feedbacks the next. Mass Storm here on the Ultras. Oh my god, the storms. Yeah, he storms everything. We attempt a micro shot, but the Ultras are going down. Yeah, the Ultras are falling one after the other. There's only one Ultra left down to 0-0 Ultras, and Classic dominates the fight. Kills everything. The Ultras, the Corruptors, there's nothing left. And again, very patient play here by Classic. Cleans up the army. What did Classic lose? He lost the Mothership, he lost Archons for sure. But the main force still breaks through. And we have 11 Ultras on the way. 11 more Ultras. Ooh. Recalling topside, knocking down another expansion. Not bad. So Classic takes down 1, 2 expansions, recalls up and takes down a 3rd base. So 3 bases go down. And Classic is on 4. Lambo also on 4. It does favor Classic. Classic, he basically has 2 fresh bases, 2 fresh bases mining. Lambo, he has 1.5, or 1 1/3. As he's remaxed with Ultras. And Classic, he can just chill. Remember, he won the last fight, he preserved his army, he has the better economy, so he just chill, calm down, and remax. Of course, still rotating. Mothership's being rebuilt. But once again, I feel like if we were casting Hero after that fight, Hero would have kept pushing into the natural. He would have kept going. Classic, you just chill. You know what? I'm gonna just back up. I'm gonna rotate. Play this out. Okay, fair enough. Link's getting caught. And Classic has been looking very comfortable for the past like 10 minutes. Just been chilling. Now when it comes to the main fights, what do we have left? 0 Corruptors, there's 7 Infestors. Depending on the High Templar and how they use, like the Infestors, they could make or break a fight here. We saw the attempted Mass Neural earlier, but he just got feedbacked. But if we have less High Templar, then maybe we can make this work. By collapsing in, neuraling the Immortals. The scary part of the Sky Toss, the fact that there are no Corruptors, there's no attempted anti-air. I mean, Lambo's broke. It's time. Lings just try to collapse in. Classic is nearby. Again, Classic has just been rotating this entire time and more than happy to just wait until he perfects his army. There are so many Immortals. There's more Immortals than there are Ultras, which is insane. There are 13 Immortals. 13. You just chunk away at the Ultras. Okay, Classic is pushing forward. And he's got the Concave. Ultras, they commit in. Yeah, into the Concave Storms. They connect. Feedbacks as well on the Vipers. Sorry, on the Infestors. Nice feedbacks, nice storms. Ooh, bit of movement command. Does move command forward there. Oh, the Blinding Clouds, true. Not bad. Yeah, not bad Blinding Clouds. Ultras, they break on through. They clean up almost every single Immortal. And what about the Sky Toss? We have no gas. Oh. So we were worried about this, and again, the Sky Toss army does persist. We have 2 Corruptors on the way. Nothing else shoots up, by the way. But really nice Blinding Clouds. Like, again, I thought they moved Command forward, but no, the Blinding Clouds actually pushed the Immortals forward, and that was so much wasted DPS. So very nice Blinding Clouds. Despite that, these bases are going to be falling. Oof. Catching up 2 Ultras. Oh no, the Infestor. Gets every Infestor. Corruptors are being thrown away. We can't afford to lose this. Like, not in this kind of low eco game state. Oof. Not like this. GG. GG gets called. Classic overwhelms, and Classic takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, Lambo, he had a very impressive fight towards the end. Unfortunately, he had 0 Corruptors, so even though he did win the battle on the ground, and again, the Vipers, the Blinding Clouds, did some heavy lifting there. Very impressive fight. He was able to overwhelm the Immortals, able to waste, like, what, 2-3 volleys of DPS there from the Immortals as well, but the Sky Toss army did persist, and Lambo had no answer. He had no answer. He was broke, of course. He had no resources. GG. GG, well played. With that, Classy does take game number 1, and now we're going to be loading to game number 2. Let's go. Let us go. Going to be loading into game 2 here, and we'll see what kind of map we load into this time. Bearing in mind that Winter Madness, the map itself, did play a large role when it came to the preferred style. We did mention at the beginning of the game, at the beginning of the series, and Lambo, he played right into it, the assumption that on a larger map, the idea of being very tech-heavy, Hydras into Hydra upgrades into fast lurker tech, Lambo, he played straight into it, but Classic was looking very comfortable that game. I mean, Classic, he has the best late game PvZ in the world, better than Hero, better than Max. That is what he is known for, and that's where he thrives. But now we're going to be loading into a smaller map. True, this is where Lambo can bounce back. We're going to be loading into Tourmaline. Tourmaline is a hyper-aggressive map, and if there were a map for Lambo to recover and to make a series out of this, it would be Tourmaline. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the German Zerg player. We have the red Zerg representing Shopify. It is Lambo. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player. We have the South Korean Protoss representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. Leading the series 1-0. And 1 game away from claiming the series and advancing on to the semis. Meanwhile, Lambo back at home. The pressure's on. The pressure is on here, but welcome to Tourmaline. As we mentioned, Tourmaline has a very short rush distance. Short rush distance by ground. Hyper aggression is favored here. The third base is open. The area in between the third and the natural also very open as well. Short rush distance, very direct attack path as well. So we often do see a lot of 2 base all-ins and 3 base all-ins, and we're expecting Lambo to go for an all-in here. Now, the issue, of course, is that because that is expected, we should be seeing Classic be hyper safe. Like hyper safe, hyper defensive. We should be seeing Classic not take any risks and go for potentially early blink into a later. Actually, the same build as last game. Early blink, delayed forge, later upgrades, fast blink stalker aggression in towards storm. That's kind of what we're expecting at a Classic. We'll see what Lambo brings to the table. So far, hatch gas pool, standard opener out of Lambo. We'll keep an eye on the tech of choice. In my mind, we'll be going for... I'll be shocked if we see an early Eva Chamber. An early Eva Chamber typically means like a lot of mid-game aggression and mid to late game play, getting into the early upgrades. So in my mind, it'll make more sense to go for an early Roach run into a Roach all-in, or to maybe make no Eva Chamber whatsoever, go up to 3 bases and go into Mass Hydra. I know that Solar and Shin are very fond of like these Hydra all-ins on 3 bases, where you just skip Eva Chambers, you skip upgrades, you just go Mass Hydra. But we'll see. I know that Lambo often does come up with his own builds, or he does theorycraft quite a bit. So does a lot of theory crafting, and again does have a plethora of builds at his disposal. So we'll see. We shall see. So now Link Speed is on the way. Pulls out a gas, so claiming his third. Everything's looking normal from Lambo. Standard build. So shade in. Shades into the bases. Does get one drone kill. Just the one. The depth goes down. That should trigger Lambo, actually. Depth does fall. That means a weaker defense at the third. For now, though, Lambo's just droning. Okay, Lambo is droning, saturating, not really capitalizing on it. Segment depth has arrived. Extra pair of Lings on the way. Getting up to 6. Getting up to just 6 Lings so far. Oracle moves out, and it is an early Eva Chamber. Okay. If you recall, I was like, I'll be surprised and shocked if we see Lambo go for early chamber, but he does go for it. As I mentioned previously, this typically means fast +1 melee into a Ling Hydra heavy composition, in towards a standard early game, and into more of a mid-game setup, in towards a later game. Like this is usually for a macro game. Get scouted. Ooh, the Oracle does scout the Eva Chamber, does confirm. And do we mind game? Nice, still going for +1. Okay, still going for +1. Meanwhile, early Twilight Council at a classic. As we assumed, just like last game, early Council... actually, he can make a choice here. Never mind. I was going to say that the early Eva Chamber screams Mass Ling, and it screams that we're skipping Roaches and Banelings, so you can go into Glaive Adepts, but with the Forge being thrown down, it looks like +1. +1, Blink is on the way. I will say that this Forge is pretty early, considering how early the Twilight Council was, so we might even see Charge instead of Blink. We'll see. We'll see if Classic does mix in Charge. The Oracle sustained a lot of damage. Pulling away, Lair gets thrown down, and yep, there it is. There is Charge. The reason why it looked like Charge is, as we mentioned, it was an early Twilight Council, and we expected the Forge to be later. For the Forge to also be earlier than normal meant that it was not going to be Blink and +1, Charge and +1 instead. But I do like this as an alternative. I was mentioning how Glaives would be favorite here because there's no Roach Warren and there's no Bailey Nest. Likewise, Charge is also favorite here because there's no Roach Warren and there's no Bailey Nest. And that was all deciphered from the fact that Lambo went for the Evo Chamber. Like, Chamber typically means that Ling Hydra. I say typically because there's always exceptions, and if Lambo feels like he's in danger, he can react and respond with, you know, a Bailey Nest. Like, that is still viable, that is still possible. But so far, there's no reaction. As you're able to discount the Gateway Explosion. Did not see the Forge. I don't think. Lambo quickly checking. Yeah, he didn't see the Forge. He only saw the Gateways. It doesn't have the full picture here. With the Forge being separated for the Twilight Council, it might look like Blink. And he's going Mass Ling, which would be ideal against Link Stalkers. Oh no! The Oracles pull away, 2 drone kills. Mass Lings are building up. And again, this would be ideal against Blink Stalker aggression. Stalkers, they struggle against Lings. Zealots don't. Oh, the Archons, wow. Yeah, the Archon job does move out. Does move out. Classic and reinforces with Zealots. There's that Bailey Nest, now he knows. So Bailey Nest, Lambo now realizes what's going on, does respond with the Bailey Nest. As he does need it against the Mass Charge lot. Things are moving out. Ooh, the Oracles, they barely do escape. Here come the Zealots, at the same time Lings get across the map. And we just spent the warp in, but the Oracles are racing back home. Here the Oracles, they will defend. Ooh, expansion goes down. Prisma's getting low. So far, the juggling is good. Juggles well and pulls away. It does pull away at the same time. Lings, they do bust into the bases. Getting 3, 4 probe kills so far. Can we get 5? Can we get 6? We can! Oh my god, we're getting out of hand. Yeah, we're getting out of hand here. Crazy damage in the main. 10 probes. Nice counterattack, but Lambo did just lose a base. He lost the base, he lost the expansion. He played out 47 Lings. Classic isn't done. Here comes the main push. It brings everything together here. The Archons, the Warpins, the Mass Zealots, and again, we need Bailings to defend. 0 Bailings. Oh boy. It's going to be a tough hold here. This army is just very fragile. We're heavily reliant on the mass Hydra. Are there enough Lings? Oof. Without Lings, there's no buffer. Without Zerglings, these Hydras are going to go down. And the Lings, they evaporate. Yeah, they just evaporate. Nice focus firing in the Oracles. Very nice target firing. See, Classic is tempted. Tempted to chase. Here we go. 8 Banelings now morphing in. We need those Banelings. And it looks like they will morph in time. The Zealots, they're clubbing up. Oh my god. Good reaction. Good reaction by Classic. He pulls away just in time. There are 2 Banelings left. There are 2 Banelings. Down to 1. Down to 0. Classic, sorry, as Lambo has momentum. Lambo, you can counterattack. We base rate? Do we commit? Oh, we're going for it. Okay. So Lambo, he commits across the map. So does Classic. Let's go. We avoid each other. The wall is open. Links, they flood in. At the same time, Classic likewise gets into the mineral end as well. Oh, the Prism. Prism overextends. And should go down. Likewise, very nice connections. And Classic gets surrounded. Lambo holds. Lambo, he holds on at the same time across the map. Lambo's overwhelming. And Lambo's looking to force the ace match. Storm is not yet done. Again, the entire army crumbles. And Lambo did go for the all-in. He cut workers early. Cut workers early. Hatcheries just for larva. Ooh, crazy storms. Oh my god. Storms are connecting. Zealots warp in from behind, and Lambo, he will lose everything actually. Oh my god, the storms did come into play. Just barely, they were clutch. And Classic has the better economy. Classic, he's on 65 probes against the 56 drones of Lambo. Aye, aye, aye. Again, Lambo, he was all in. He was all in, and that should have worked. That should have worked. The storms were brutal. Classic is holding. Classic is ahead. Aye, aye, aye. And Lambo's in a rough position here. And Lambo, he's just gonna keep pushing. He's moving out again. Lambo, he's desperate for damage. He cannot just macro out of this. He needs to do something. Yes, Lambo does pull away. Lambo does try to rotate. There's so many Archons morphing in. There's minimal High Templar, so minimal storms. True. That is another thing to bear in mind here. And Lambo's going for a split push. Jeez, we have a wall of batteries on the right-hand side, but no real units here to defend. Do we energy overcharge in time? There's the Archon. Lambo, he commits in, peels off to the mineral line, Cannon does defend. And here go the Banelings. Yeah, batteries, they're buying time. Archons respond. Classic, he does keep his main army here in position. Doesn't overreact. So far, sole defense here by Classic. I think Lambo is in trouble. He does run up to 77, and you can see that Lambo, he has no tech. He has no infestation pit, he has no +2. Like Lambo, he has been all in this entire time, and he's still all in, purely on Lingbane Hydra. And he needs to break one of these bases, whether it's the 3rd base, whether it's the 4th base. He needs to kill an expansion. Nice banding connection. Oh, not quite. There we go. Nice banding connections. Very nice. Yeah, Zealots say crumble. Shows again how crucial the Banelings are. We need those Banelings. Getting run by the right hand side. Archons, they defend. Lings, they push forward. Into the center of rough Sim City. The wall of batteries once again. And Classic is holding. Classic is holding. One Baneling does get into the mineral line and does connect. Ooh, 17 probe kills. Very nice. Oof. 25 probes go down. Lings, they flood into the main. Classic, the economy here is in shambles, but the main army is what's terrifying. That's what concerns me. Is that main army. Bearing in mind that Lambo, his army is very fragile. And he's up against 6 High Templar. Oh, sorry, down to 4. He's up against 4 Templar. Speaking of, Storm just force him back. Once again, zoning further back here. And then we're trying to gain ground. So far, classic buying time with the Storms. He's rolling. He wants a Templar. Up! Can he get him? No, he cannot. Yeah, doesn't get the Templar. Does bait out one of the Storms. That does force Classic to react, to rotate. Lambo setting up as well on the left-hand side. Remember, the longer this game goes on, the better it is for Classic. Lambo's army isn't getting any better. Remember, he has no +2, he has no Infestation, he has no Hive, he has no Lurkers. The army is staying stagnant when it comes to the quality. Banelings getting called out. Some brutal losses here for Lambo. Ay, ay, ay. Losing all the Banelings. Flanking Banelings, they get shut down. They don't connect. We have another flanking army here on the top side. And again, Classic working on +3. It's going to be +3 versus +1. Likewise, more Archons, more Immortals. Lambo, he does connect well. Trays against the Zealots. Coming in from behind, coming in with the surround. Can he get on top of the Templar? He's trying to. Storms do zone away. More Archons, they rotate. There are so many Archons. Yeah, the Archons, they shut down the Ling Bane. And now we're getting on top of the Hydras. We're still lacking Zealots. Yeah, we're lacking Zealots here. We need more charge lots. Zealots are trickling in. It does hold. Oh, speaking of Zealots, there they are. Going for the counterattack and knocking down the expansion, at least trying to. Does cause a distraction. And we're just rebuilding, doing it all over again. Okay. Let's run it back. Oof. Alright, just getting caught. Hydra rotates. High Templar not ready. Does force the Archon. Lings they get into the middle line. No cannon! The cannon was replaced! Oh my god, heavy losses for Classic. Heavy losses. Losing 10 more probes. Once again, we're lacking Zealots here. They're once again across the map. This time they do kill the expansion. True. Look at the base. Nice save there for Classic. I'll save some of the Zealots. And again, this is like a prime example of the soup is lying to you. Like, the soup does lie. Lambo, he's maxed. He's been maxed for quite some time, actually. But again, this is still better for Classic as long as he maintains these bases. Lambo finally starts +2. We have +2 on the way. Oh, Banelings get in. They don't quite make it through there. As one of the Archons is going to be focused down. Banelings, they smash in. 6 probe kills. More Banelings rolling into the third base mineral line. +3 is now finishing. +3 is done. Zealots into the main. Catching in a Queen. Classic is holding on. As Lambo, he's forced back home. He's forced all the way back. See the chat. Life for Classic to get some Colossi. That would kill him. At the moment, it's important to bear in mind there's only one Robo. Only one Robo, there's no Bay. Right now, there's no need to tech up into something like Colossus. Archon, Chargelot, High Templar is a more viable army at the moment. If Classic had a greater economy, then you can discuss like tech switching. But right now, like he's got what he needs. So now he does counterattack. Third base does go down. We can see Classic taking another expansion on the top side. Ooh, catching out all the Hydras. Oh my god. Every Hydra goes down. soon Classic, I mean, I feel like he probably isn't going to push until he maxes. Like, there's a very high chance that we just stay defensive here, taking another fresh base, just being hyper efficient. Things they try to get into the middle line. Once again, nice hold position micro. Wouldn't work. They work well against Lambo's army composition. I mean, Chargel Archon Storm is doing well. Like, it's there's a reason why Lambo's been maxed for like, was it 8 minutes? And Classic has been taking better fights. Like, he's just been taking better trades. Ooh, as he wants to catch out those Hydras once again, they're exposed. The Hydras are on their own. No Lingbane. There's no Lingbane here. Classic, can he catch him? He's trying to, and he will. Yeah, Hydras are going down. Rough velocity for Lambo. He has pure Hydra. Oh, god. And he's going to lose everything. That Classic. His snowball's out of control. He can just A move at this point. There's nothing to stop the Archons. And Lambo crumbles. Lambo crumbles. Takes down the expansion. Lambo cannot stop this. Not anymore. As Classic hit critical mass. GG gets called, and Classic will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. Whew. GG. Again, Lambo, even though he was maxed out, we tried to emphasize he was all in for the past 10 minutes. He was completely all in. He had no tech, he had no drones, he had no saturation, no gases. He had purely Lingbane Hydra without any further upgrades. He had 1/1 Lingbane Hydra as well. And as time went on, it was better and better for Classic as he was taking better fights, better trades. Lambo, he had to break the bases. He had to break the third, he had to break the fourth, but it took so long to actually get into the middle lines and so long to break the expansions, and he never could deal with the main army. Never could deal with it. GG. Over time, he got outscaled to the point where we hit critical mass of Archons, and then Classic just moves out. He just moves out, he counterattacks, he snowballs out of control. GG. GG, well played. Oh, as Classic does overwhelm. Again, unfortunately, Lambo, he was just in a really rough position that entire game where he just couldn't. He had to, at a certain point, he had to make the rough decision to start to drone and start to take up out of it. But the moment he does that, Classic pushes, because it's Tourmaline, right? Tourmaline, it's a hyper aggressive map, so you're forced to be aggressive. You're forced to keep making units. The moment you don't, I mean, Classic counterattacks, and then it's over, right? So you're just damned if you do, damned if you don't. GG. GG, well played. And with that, Classic does claim the series 2-0. We advance on to the semis, where Classic has his next opponent. Let's go. Up next, we have another PvZ. It's going to be Classic versus Solar. Oh boy.